Welcome to the Doctor's Life podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Diane. Think of the podcast as a mobile doctor's lounge where we take some time out and explore topics that doctors are interested in related to what it means to be a doctor in today's world and creating a rich, satisfying, and meaningful life, as well as making the healthcare system better for doctors and patients. So, if you are a doctor, you'll feel right at home, and if you aren't a doctor, you'll get a better understanding of doctors and what we think about and talk about. I know you will enjoy the conversation. Let's jump in. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Dr. Diane. Welcome to the Doctor's Life podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing professional fulfillment, self-renewal, and CME. Who doesn't love that? We're going to be talking about physician wellness conferences with two of my really good friends, Dr. Alicia Kowalski and Dr. Imelda Chia. And I just want to say a couple things about these two wonderful physicians. For one, we're all anesthesiologists, so that's super cool. But also, these docs founded a wonderful conference that we'll talk more about during this podcast called Burnout to Brilliance. But interestingly, was it 3 years ago, you guys, already, that it was the first physician wellness conference that I attended? And being a coach out there and wanting to get involved more with kind of a national agenda, meeting more people who are interested in what I was interested in, I just Googled physician wellness conferences, and there's a slew of them now, but at that time, like probably only 2 or 3 popped up. And it was literally the day before that sign up was to end, and I was able to sign up and attend the first conference, and met Dr. Chia and Dr. Kowalski, who are just wonderful and two of my favorite people. So welcome, Dr. Imelda, Dr. Alicia, to the Doctor's Life podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
We're very excited to be here.
It's great. So just so that people get to know you a little bit better, I'm going to open it up for you guys to tell about yourselves, where you trained, how you got into anesthesia, and how you got into what you are doing now.
So I'm a native Houstonian, and I graduated from Rice University. Attended University of Texas Medical School at Houston, where I did my residency also. And then from there, I became faculty at MD Anderson across the street. And I've been here since I finished residency. And a lot of my passion lies in supporting colleagues in terms of professional fulfillment and career sustainability throughout their career journey. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an equally as important aspect to what we do, aside from the clinical care of our patients.
Yeah, absolutely. I should mention, too, that Dr. Imelda and Dr. Alicia are doing this interview from work. We're both wearing scrubs and have been really generous with their time in the evening to do the podcast. So, Dr. Imelda, let's hear about you.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, and I went to college at the University of Dallas, and I went to med school at University of Texas Medical School in Houston, and there I also completed my anesthesia residency. I went on to do a pediatric anesthesia fellowship at the Baylor College of Medicine, Texas Children's Hospital, and this is where I stayed, and where I'm currently practicing anesthesia. Aside from anesthesia, I thoroughly enjoy doing quality improvement work. And, there is a strong link between quality improvement and physician engagement. And I think that's what drew me to the importance of physician wellness and career sustainability. And that's why Alicia and I felt that it was so important that we do this and we help each other and our colleagues through the journey.
Yeah, you guys are so committed to this work, But there's a lot of docs out there that know that, physician burnout is an issue, physician wellness is important, but they haven't stepped up like you guys have to actually create this conference. So I want to give you guys a lot of credit. And how in the world did you actually come to creating this conference that you do?
Well, a few years ago, I worked with the Department of Women, Faculty, and Minority Inclusion here at MD Anderson when they put on a workshop for professional development. And I wanted Imelda to come because I felt like the lectures were so important and valuable. So she came, and at the time I approached the head of that department about doing something off-site because I felt like speaking about meditation and resiliency activities in an auditorium while you're getting paged and you're having to go do discharges or they're asking you for verbal orders is like basically hypocritical. It doesn't give you an opportunity to experience the resiliency activities like you really need to in order to engage and to benefit from it. But at that time, the person was not interested in doing anything off-site. So I spoke to Imelda, and I'm sure she's so patient with me, and she tolerates my big ideas. But I'm like, Imelda, we need to do this, and we need to do this in a venue, like where they have activities. Like, my thought was, I'm afraid of heights to the degree that I can do zip lining up to a certain level, but beyond that, I'm just not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stretch yourself and you do something physically or mentally outside your comfort zone, that confidence can then be translated to professional arena. So, for example, when you stretch yourself and gain confidence through zip lining, then public speaking may not be such a challenge.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, so Imelda was very patient with me, and Dr. Imelda was very patient with me and very endearing and very supportive. And the more I talked about it, the more engaged she became too. And our creativity just began to kind of roll like a tumbleweed almost.
So you're in Texas, right? So
that's right.
I guess it would
Texas.
roll like a tumbleweed.
We're Texas girls.
I'm outside Chicago, so there's no tumbleweed here.
Well, we can say blow like the wind,
Right.
Then this article came out in Time Magazine by Mandy Oaklander, right around that same time that we were talking about things. And it was really powerful. It was the first article in mainstream media that addressed the issue of physician fatigue, work hours, demands, what call is like, burnout, all those things that they're almost unfathomable to people who haven't gone through it. Mm-hmm. And here it was published in Time Magazine. So I felt like that was a real jumpstart to help us to be able to gain traction in doing this. And we had tremendous support from our leaders and our institutions together. And we worked hard and learned a lot.
And there's a real interest, a real need. I think that there are physicians out there who understand that this is important, and they're engaged in this effort, and they are excited about it, and they want to be involved, and they want to learn about ways to improve their work life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can attest to the quality of the conference and the number of people that attend and how excited they are about attending. I also wanted to go back just a little bit, and I'm curious, did you all have a personal experience of burnout or know somebody that had burnout, or were you just looking at it more from an academic standpoint? There's usually something that fuels the excitement or the desire to move forward and help.
Sure.
So I'm wondering if you guys have that.
I think anyone who spends 10, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week or more in a certain environment is exposed to tremendous experience, both professionally, clinically, and personally. And I had something happen with a colleague that for me really caught my attention and hit home in a very profound way. There was a surgical colleague who I had worked with and admired very much. This person was a global leader in surgery. This person was world renowned. We have patients come from all over the planet to have this particular person operate on them. And one day they arrived to work, and as a surgeon, that person could not tie their surgical mask for the operating room. And that's pretty striking because that's something that we do like completely without thought multiple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that was a little bit off, which is not necessarily individually driven, could be a reflection of the laundry service, but the color of the scrub pants and top were different. And that struck me just a little bit strange. And then with the issue of the inability to tie the mask, I was really impressed, like what's happening. And my thought was, is this person having a stroke? Are they diabetic? Are they hypoglycemic? Did they have a new medication that they started and something's going wrong? Like what's happening? And the patient is, of course, asleep now, and the fellow is in the room, and we're all ready to start, and here comes the attending, and this is what's happening. So now I'm in a position about patient safety and how do we handle this? And we didn't have formal policies at that time about stop the line or how to intervene. And so I gently pulled my colleague / friend, someone, and on a personal level, I could really identify with this person. But I pulled them out of the OR and asked, are you okay? And all I kept getting was, I'm fine, I'm fine. But they refused to take their mask down. And so I was asking those same questions, kind of trending towards some organic root to this behavior that was so bizarre. Mm-hmm. And nothing really came clear. So I called their friend, colleague in their department who had always been extremely supportive of this person, and asked that colleague to please come and help facilitate. And within a short period of time, it was revealed to me something they had not known at all over the period of time of training and working here as faculty alongside this colleague, that they were suffering from alcoholism. And after decades and decades of being at the institution, that was their last day at work. And I felt like that was just such a tragic, tragic end to such a beautiful and stellar career. Mm-hmm. Something that this person had just really, really shined brightly doing above all their peers within the specialty of surgery, within their subspecialty, and across the nation and the globe. And I just felt like it was such a tremendous, almost like defeat to them and deflating. And that despite these challenges that we all experience in whatever way as physicians and human beings, do we owe it to each other to have a little bit more formidable infrastructure of support and compassion and celebration of each other? And so that's the thing that really caught my attention.
Yeah. I can see where that would, this having that such a profound story. And I'm sure that people that are listening out in the audience probably have similar stories, or they know other physicians that have been struggling, or they've been struggling themselves, whether or not drug addiction is involved. But we all have struggles in our lives, and we all need to be supported. I think that's just the culture shift that you guys are really starting to move forward, is that the culture of how we work together really needs to change. And I believe that based on what you guys are doing, that it and other organizations, that it is changing and it is moving forward. So kudos to you both. Dr. Imelda, do you have a personal reference for all this work that you're doing? Basically, because we're all doing this in addition to our regular work, and Don't be fooled. We aren't like taking any part of our salaries from doing this additional work.
Right.
So, yeah. What got you into it? What's, aside from Dr. Alicia?
Well, well, I feel like, it's so important, that we are, as physicians, always putting our patients first. We're always putting other people first, whether it be our patients, our families, and many times we don't think about ourselves. And we need to not only think about ourselves and take care of ourselves, but we got to take care of each other. And I think it really helps that, there's already an increasing awareness about burnout and physician wellness out there. There's so many different articles. There's so many different surveys that people can take, and that can makes people more in tune with what's going on in their lives and also in their colleagues' lives. So it's just not enough for for us to say, oh my gosh, you look horrible, or wow, you look like you've gone through the ringer. No, I think we need to say, what can I do to help you? I think we need to keep in mind, we help our families, we help our patients, but we also need to help each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. We are talking as though the audience that is listening has a really great understanding of physician wellness and burnout, because we have a really good understanding of it. But would you guys mind commenting on the impact of physician burnout, both in our physician community and in the wider world?
This is Dr. Alicia. And just defining burnout, we know it's a triad, is defined by Christine Masloch, of emotional exhaustion, cynicism, and questioning your own contribution or value of your contribution. So when a physician gets into a space where those types of things are happening, which is typically the result of a number of different drivers, there are consequences and impact to the healthcare delivery to the patient. So the individual themselves can have significant impact in terms of behavior, in terms of productivity, in terms of efficiency, in terms of quality of care, medical errors. And there's so many statistics out there that support this. Then in terms of consequences to the patient, many times the patients have poor outcomes, prolonged recoveries, less compliance or adherence to different medication regimens or physical therapy regimens. And in terms of consequences to the organization, there's a tremendous financial cost in turnover, onboarding, lost revenue, complications, medical errors. So the true impact of the burnout to the entire healthcare system on many levels, the individual level, the dynamics between the individual and the patient, and then the overall organization, is really profound. Last year, the World Health Organization identified burnout as occupational phenomenon, and a price tag was put on it of close to $8,000 per physician annually, with the overall healthcare cost of $4.6 billion per year. So the impact of burnout is really significant.
It's huge. Yeah, it's absolutely huge. So let's take a quick break. I did get your text message. So we've been talking a lot about how you guys came to create the conference and the name of the conference, but I'm sure that everyone at this point wants to hear more about the conference, the Burnout to Brilliance Physician Wellness Symposium that I've had the opportunity to attend for 2 or 3 out of the last 3. So I'm excited to hear you guys talk about the history of it and then more the good stuff, like where it's going to be and the fun that we're going to have and what you're going to learn and when it is. So I'll just let you guys get rolling. Tell us all about it.
We are super, super excited about having it in Santa Fe this year.
Yay!
Yes, we're looking forward to it. The thing that makes our conference unique, or what we really strive for in terms of originality and niche, is bringing forth together national experts in the arena. So some of our speakers have been Tate Shanafelt, Colin West, Mary Brandt, Diana Wynn. We've had excellent expertise come and contribute to the curriculum and support us. And we feel like this level of contribution and expertise in terms of the didactics and the academics really elevates it to a competitive edge. This year, we're going to have Christine Sinsky, who is Vice President of the AMA, Joy in Practice, come. And we are having Joan Shook, who is the
Chief Safety Officer for Texas Children's Hospital.
Yep. She's coming to address the intersection of quality and burnout. And we're having a national leader who is talking on diversity and inclusion and how our own inherent bias that we don't recognize can really be an obstacle for us personally and individually. So we're super excited about this year. We are very happy that it's coming up, and we're just grateful for the support and contribution of our speakers. Mm-hmm. The other thing that's unique is we combine this with abstracts. So we like to give people an opportunity to really present their projects, their innovations, their ideas, their challenges, things that can really help to give the rest of the community opportunity for building, for taking it back to their own practice, and actually for networking and collaboration. We build into the agenda opportunities for networking, and we've had some attendees co-collaborate on projects together and share ideas and do things across institutions. And then finally, by having it in the unique venues that we select, the venue gives the attendees tremendous opportunity, again, for these professional growth, resiliency activities, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever way they want to explore this self-development in order to help fortify their own resiliency in terms of going back to practice. Mm-hmm. So we feel that's really a unique combination and recipe that's not to say that the other efforts are not commendable, because they truly are, but it's just a little bit different in bringing it all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can say, that speaking as a participant, I love this conference because there's a great mix of academics, there's support for people that are trying to work on this issue, physician wellness and burnout. It's in an awesome place every year, a beautiful place, especially for me coming from Chicago in the early spring. It's always like in a super cool place. This year it's in Santa Fe. And then Dr. Alicia was talking about, how you can integrate the physical and mental and everything. And what does that mean? That means that you are going to have a heck of a lot of fun, because every place we've been, including this year, there's amazing spa activities. There's usually, is it this year, do they have like with physical activities like they do the zip lining? And yeah, let's talk more about like the nuts and bolts of this conference.
Well, there's going to be yoga, there's going to be meditation activities, there's, I think, puppy petting activities.
Oh.
Yes. One thing that's unique, and that we've heard this multiple times from participants who have attended this conference, is that the attendees, we all come together, we learn together, we have meals, many times we don't know each other, and then we get to, by the end of the weekend, everyone knows everyone pretty well, and everyone is learning together, playing together, eating together, and so it's an experience. It's an experiential weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so, some of the hiking, there's some culinary classes that that are offered. There's a sweat lodge. There's fitness classes. There's also horticulture and gardening classes that are offered. Oh,
Yeah.
and then there's also hiking and then I think there's also golf as well.
Yeah, so a lot of cool stuff. And what I've found is that you can really mix and mingle the activities that you want to do. So you can attend the conference, part of the conference, and then go for a hike, come back. You can have lunch with some of the participants, or if you just feel like, I need some downtime and chill time, you can definitely do that. People come with wearing their business attire, more business casual, or some people have just finished a yoga session, so they come in their yoga pants or whatever. The idea is, I think, and you guys can elaborate on this, but to give everybody an individual experience, but it's not just playtime. We're really trying to learn and grow and help each other, but in a setting that is life affirming. It's the way that I
Yes.
put it.
Yes.
Well, I forgot to ask you guys when this is.
Oh, April 2nd.
When is this awesome time?
It's April 2nd through the 5th.
And it's 2020. So
Yes.
just in case somebody's listening, like in the future. And then it usually, if you guys are listening and it's already passed, then it usually is like in March or early April. So look for that in 2021. But
true.
Getting back to 2020, it's already the end of January. And in keeping with the intimacy of this group, how many participants are you going to have this year?
We really don't put a firm cap on the number because we hate to discourage anyone from attending. Last year, we sold out the venue. So the sooner you make your reservations, the better, because once the venue is capped out, then that's pretty much the definition of our limit. It's my understanding that Sunrise Springs caps out around, I want to say 40 or 45 rooms. So we're looking to have people register and make their reservations sooner rather than later. And if you do it before February 3rd, there is a registration discount and a room reservation discount. So it's a little bit of incentive to kind of plan ahead if you can.
Okay, yeah, or think about it quick, because this, by the time you guys are hearing this, it'll probably be about February 1st. So think about it over the weekend, y'all, and sign up.
Or don't think and just come.
Well, you guys heard my story. I saw it and I signed up for it, and it was like the day before registration was going to close, or at least that's when they said. But of course, now that I know Dr. Imelda and Dr. Alicia, I think they would have let me come in.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We never turn anyone away. That's
Right.
May have to sit on the floor, but
Right? It's all good. Santa Fe, maybe you can find a roommate.
I'm happy to sleep in the hammock and give someone my cabin room. So.
Oh, there you go.
And so for the listeners of The Doctor's Life with Dr. Diane Ansari Wynn, if you say that you heard about this on the podcast, we'll take $100 off of your registration fee. And mind you, the registration fee covers all food expenses while you're on property and all activity expenses that are included with the room. I think there's a few activities and spa treatments that are a la carte, but beyond that, it's pretty much all included.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So when again are the dates and where is it one more time?
So it's April 2nd through 5th, and it's at Sunrise Springs, which is an Ojo resort in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And you can have direct flight into Albuquerque.
Oh, well, I can't wait. So let's talk about registration. Where can they find out more and register?
So you can look up Burnout to Brilliance CME.com, and you can find the registration form there.
Mhm.
And as Dr. Alicia said earlier, early registration goes through February 3rd, and there's going to be a little discount for early registration.
Great. So that's at www.burnout2brilliance, BRILLIANCE, CME.com. Burnout to Brilliance, CME.com, y'all. And are you still taking abstracts at this point?
Yes, we are. Yes. And the submission form is online. And we encourage residents to attend as well.
So it's not just for attendings, it's also for residents.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now that Dr. Imelda brought up the issue about residents, I want to add in that we have a grant trainees can apply for. And it's the Charles D. John MD PhD grant for physician wellness and career sustainability. And for trainees who are submitting an abstract that's accepted and who are coming to present, they are eligible to apply for the grant and qualify for additional funding supplement.
Mm-hmm.
So we encourage that.
Is the information for the grant on the website as well?
It is. Yes, it is.
Okay. So that's www.burnout2brilliance.cme.com.
Yes.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, awesome. So all the links and all the information will be in the show notes for this podcast. So just look at the show notes and you'll see exactly the URL again and more information about the conference, that it's going to be April 2nd through 5th at Sunrise Springs in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Come one, come all. And we're looking forward to seeing you all there. Any last words or comments, Dr. Melda, Dr. Alicia?
Well, we're just really excited about the upcoming symposium, and we are very enthusiastic to have you. We're grateful for your podcast and all you do for the physician community across the country. So thank you, Diane, Dr. Diane. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Full disclosure, in addition to Dr. Imelda and Dr. Alicia being my dear friends and the fact that I've attended the conference, I've actually attended the conference, spoken at the conference, signed books for the conference, signed my books for the conference. And this year I'm really excited to be teaching about how to do some coaching because in addition to coaching physicians, as you guys probably know, and writing a book about physician stress and burnout, how to mitigate it. I also teach a course now on for physicians so that they can learn how to become peer coaches. So I'm going to give the participants a little taste of what you would learn if you were in the program. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks, you guys, for coming on the Doctor's Life podcast. Thank you so much for being on the forefront of physician wellness. And I like you guys so much, and I appreciate you guys so much. And thanks again for appearing on the Doctor's Life podcast today.
Thank you so much for having us. We love you too.
All right. Well, it's just a love fest here, but we have to go.
See you in April.
Come to the conference, and we'll see you in April.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening today. If you like what you've heard, be sure to hit subscribe in your podcast app so that you won't miss an episode. You can also read show notes, get links, and contact me by going to drdiane.com. That's www.drdianne.com. And docs, while you're there, take the Physician Vitality Assessment, which will help you more clearly see if you are at risk for burnout.